Talk and Rock Radio, where friends meet at the intersection of life, inspiration, and music. Here's your host, Rick Kern.
Happy New Year and welcome everyone to our first Talk and Rock Radio episode in 2024. 2 years ago, I interviewed a Las Vegas singer-songwriter by the name of Michael Peterson. His credits and musical accomplishments are too lengthy to share here, but I would be safe to say he is one of the finest music writers in the business. I recently read where he was involved in a collaborative songwriting that he wants to share with everyone. So let's talk with Michael Peterson. Hello.
Hey, sorry about the delay. It just took a lot longer on the call.
Oh, that's okay, man. You know, a lot of stuff going on in your life these days.
Oh, it's all good, man. How are you doing?
Well, I'm good. I'm doing really well, Michael. How are things in Las Vegas?
Just happy as can be. Getting ready to go out of the country for about a month. And excited to take a little vacation.
Where are you going?
I'm going to the South Pacific, go Bora Bora, Fiji, Tahiti.
You and your wife?
Yeah.
Ah, nice. Super, super nice. Well, I gotta tell you, there are a lot of things been going on with me lately. You know, I've
Tell me.
Well, something that kind of relates to you as well, because I guess about 5 or 6 months ago, I was going to my monthly chiropractic adjustment. I walk into the appointment and I sit down, and sitting next to me is a gentleman, and we struck up a conversation, and so he was asking me what I do and all that, and I told him, I said, you know, a little bit about my background and being in music and stuff like that, and in show bands on the road and stuff, and then he says, well, let's talk more about that. So I shared a little more with him, and then he said, well, I've got a music background also. And I said, well, really? Well, tell me about that. And he says, yeah, I was the dean of music at the University of Texas at El Paso. and so one thing led to the next, and then he's telling me that he was the orchestral director for the U.S. Air Force band and symphony and all this stuff. And so we really hit it off. And so later on that afternoon, he Facebook friends me, and so I accepted it, and we carry on the conversation. And then he said, sometime you need to come over. He said, I'm an audiophile. He said, you need to come over and see my, you know, setup and everything. I said, that'd be great, you know. Well, anyway, so move forward, you know, 5-6 months later, that was yesterday. He had, a couple of days before, he had said, why don't you come over to the house and we'll, you know, get to know each other better and all that, you know. And so I went over yesterday, and I had prepared a little on my iPad, a little kind of a history of kind of summation of what I've done for the last, you know, 40 years, and how my music started and everything back, you know, right out of college and going on the road with bands and all that. And so after showing him that, then he proceeded to talk a little bit about his experience and everything, and who all he's conducted and performed with, and you know, basically produced the shows with the Air Force Academy and everything. So anyway, all that being said, he hands me a list of all the people that he has directed. And a lot of these people you know and you've played with and performed with. And it was really interesting because Rita Coolidge was one of those. And I shared with him, I said, oh, Rita Coolidge, that's great. I said, my wife and I, we catered a concert when she was here at our university doing a concert here. And this is when I got off the road back in the early 80s, whatever. And so he said, you know what? He said, let me look for something real quick here. And so he pulled out a video that he hadn't even looked at since 2000, and I think he said 2001. And it was him directing the Air Force Orchestra with Rita Coolidge in concert.
Oh, how cool.
And so we sat there and watched that for about 20 or 30 minutes. I recorded a lot of it right off the TV because he and I are going to be doing an episode about that experience yesterday and everything. But that's not the coolest part of all this, Michael. This is the real divine intervention story here. And I think you can probably relate to what I'm getting ready to tell you and how this relates to what's going on in your life right now. But right after we Facebook friended and all that, I got to thinking, he's from Colorado, and he is currently the director of the Greeley Symphony Orchestra. And he retired as far as a dean of music here and everything at UTEP, at our university, but he still is the director of the symphony there in Greeley, Colorado. And so I said, my cousin married a guy that eventually became the director of Cherry Creek High School Orchestra. He was a symphonic director there. And I thought, Colorado, both of them are directors. I wonder if they by any chance would know each other. So
Right.
Here's the crazy part. I call up Colonel Lowell Graham, is his name, and I said, Lowell, there's just, I had this feeling that you might know my cousin, and my cousin by marriage. I said, he is the director of Cherry Creek, or was, retired now, the director of Cherry Creek High School Orchestra. He says, you mean Freddie Selby? And I'm going, what? You know him? Well,
That's great.
this is the crazy part. He met my cousin who married Fred Selby the same day that Fred and Leela, my cousin, met at a music event, I guess there in, I don't know where it was, maybe at the college where she might have been, with him that day or whatever. But they had met, and they've been married now for about 50 plus years.
Wow.
So that meeting of him that day in the doctor's office was, it's definitely a spiritual connection, and that kind of just shows you that things are meant to happen and destiny's involved, and you just never know. But
It's a mystery.
yeah, it is. It's a mystery, and you never know. But I just had that inert feeling that this guy and I are more than just connected by chance. And then we had the most fun time yesterday visiting, and so here's the connection to you. One of the people that he conducted for was Connie Stevens.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, that was one of them, and I've got a picture sitting right here in front of me, and you can see him in the background, and there's Connie Stevens singing, and you can see him directing the orchestra. It's a great photo, and when we do our episode together, I'm going to definitely be showing that photo, and I'll be showing one of the Rita Coolidge and a little bit of the video of when he was playing for her. I mean, when she was doing her Higher and Higher part of the concert, that was one of her songs that we did with my last band, and it was really fun watching her do that again, but with a symphonic,
Oh, yeah. You just never know the connections. The world is a huge place, and yet somehow we're all more connected than we think.
It's a huge stage, man, and it's being produced by a lot of divine power.
I totally agree. Well said.
And if he wants to pull us into the production, then so be it. We're here for his taking and using, so,
Yeah.
but
Well said. Couldn't have said it better myself.
regarding your project with Alan Parsons and this Out Loud thing. I mean, this is really pretty cool stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can tell you the story about how it happened, if that's what you'd like to hear.
Please do, man.
So I have a really good friend in Nashville named Joey Scott Poster. And Joey is a well-known songwriter who has written songs for Peebo Bryson, Shania Twain, Anne Murray. She wrote the song for Colin Ray, co-wrote it, called Really Not That Different, which was a number one country hit. And Joey and I have been dear friends for ages. And about a year or so ago, she invited me to co-write with her with a young artist named Jordan Asher Huffman. So over the course of, 6 or 7 months, we wrote this song together called Out Loud. And the song was born from a conversation I had with Jordan, where I suggested to him that some good advice I'd gotten over the years was that if you wanted to really touch a lot of people, then you should write and or sing songs that make you a spokesperson for millions of people. So, we started chewing on that a little bit, and I just invited him to, tell me what really, really mattered to him. Like if he was going to write a song that would be his theme song, that could potentially be an anthem that millions of other people would resonate with, what might that be that he would want to write about? So we started talking about some of the challenges that he faced in his life that, in retrospect, are pretty universal kinds of challenges. And so that was he said, as we were talking, he said, I'm feeling this way and I'm feeling this way. And I said, have you ever said those things out loud before? And he said, no, I've never said those things out loud before. And I said, well, how does it feel when you say them? And he said, it feels really empowering when I can blow past the stigma that gets placed when we talk on these kinds of things, emotional issues, kind of blow past the stigma and to have the courage to just stand up and speak it out loud. And he said it was really healing to him to do that. And I said, well, I think that's our song right there. I said, I think that's the song that you and Joey and I should write, is to write a song that gives voice to the idea of giving voice to things that normally people are hesitant to give voice to. So that's where it started. So the three of us wrote this song. And then Jordan went into the studio, and he's working with Alan Parsons to, produce this record. Mm-hmm. So as they're doing the recording, about halfway through the project, when they get to the bridge, Alan essentially says, hey, I've got some ideas on the bridge and the melody. And I wasn't there, so I don't know exactly how this all unfolded, but essentially Alan made a contribution to the melody while they were doing the recording project. And at the end of the project, when they were done recording that night, Jordan picked up the phone and called me and said that Alan, being the consummate gentleman, asked Jordan if he thought that the other two co-writers would mind if he got a writer's credit on this song. So, of course, it took me about a split second to say yes, that would be no problem. Because in my wildest imagination, I never dreamed that I would see a lyric sheet with my name saying written by right next to Alan Parsons.
Sure.
Because, this guy, he engineered Dark Side of the Moon for Pink Floyd. He engineered the last two Beatles albums, Abbey Road and Let It Be. He had, of course, all of the Alan Parsons Project smash hits, iconic hits like Eye in the Sky and so many more.
Sure.
So it was just, just one of those things, man. It's like, you get up in the morning and you go to work and you do the thing that you're called to do. And as long as you do that, some neat things can happen along the journey. And this was just one of those examples of what I call grace or unmerited favor, where, just simply because I showed up to serve and to share my gift, it got multiplied into sort of like the 5 loaves and 3 fishes or whatever it was, whatever the story is about the loaves and the fishes, it got multiplied and fed everyone, right? So
exactly.
So the single came out Wednesday, day before yesterday,
Right.
and already today a large national organization has requested if they could have the song be their national theme song around the idea of mental health. So apparently a lot of people are already resonating with it. And I guess got to tell you, man, it feels so beautiful to witness that the song could end up being meaningful to people who really need encouragement.
Gonna start a conversation between me, myself, and why believing in myself is the hardest thing in life. Why I'm feeling so damn fragile, like a smoke ring in the wind. I know where I wanna go, but where do I begin? I don't wanna feel afraid anymore. I don't wanna feel sad anymore. Never said that out loud before. No one ever said that. I'm never gonna find that new horizon till I finally leave the shore. Never said that out loud. Never out loud before. Just another conversation between me, myself, and why. No more looking in the mirror through disappointed eyes. Tell me, what's the use in dreaming if a dream is all I have? Gonna lift this cloud and live out loud and see with all I have. I don't wanna feel afraid anymore. I don't wanna feel sad anymore. Never said that out loud before. No one ever said that. I'm never gonna find that new horizon till I finally leave the shore. Never said that out loud. Never out loud. There's something about saying something out loud that speaks to me. There's something about saying something out loud that sets me free. I don't wanna feel afraid anymore. I don't wanna feel sad anymore. Never said that out loud before. No one ever said that. I'm never gonna find that new horizon till I finally leave the shore. Never said that out loud. Never out loud before.
Well, I listened to the song in its entirety today, and I even wrote a comment, which you will read on your Facebook site. And it really rang true to me. I really I was reading what somebody wrote, that this is really worth a listen, and maybe even 6. And I know what they mean by that. It's really very powerful. And is this going to be part of an album, or is this just going to be a single, out there?
Well, you know how the streaming world works these days,
right?
I think generally people are putting out singles,
right?
And then for a period of time, if they, get some traction with those singles, they might package them as an album.
Sure.
So Jordan Asher Huffman is the artist name, and you can, for your listeners, you can find Jordan Asher Huffman, Huffman. You can find him on all of the streaming platforms, Spotify, YouTube, all of them. And Jordan Asher Huffman has had several singles out. I think this is his 4th or 5th single. And his last single was a song called Everest. And Everest is a song that had over 1 million streams in its first 2 weeks. So this is a young emerging artist who's really starting to get traction. And this is the follow-up to Everest. And, given that Alan Parsons is directly involved and, is sharing this with his community of fans around the world, I guess I feel hopeful for Jordan that this song could become a signature song for him that will really help him fulfill his dream of having a career as a musician and a singer and as a world changer.
I see that he's a Nashville artist, and is he in the writing of this song? How much of it did he have to do with it, or was it primarily you and Joey that did this?
I would say this was truly a collaboration.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, sometimes you hear the stories about singers showing up in the room for 5 minutes and then leaving, but getting their name on the song. That is not the case here. Jordan, this was all harvested from the field of his sorrow and his hope.
Well, this could really put him on the map. This is what dreams are made of. In the mere fact that he was given the idea of taking these life experiences, if you will, and putting them in the form of the song. And I'm really happy for this guy. There's so many writers. Yeah, there's so many good writers out there, but sometimes you just never get to hear their talent and get to see what they sound like and everything. There's many good writers out there that can't sing a darn, but in this case, he's the whole package. He can. He's
a really a great guy too, with a big heart, and he's a talented singer. And he's a talented songwriter, and I think there's a bright future for him.
That's fantastic. Now, is this part of the 37 publishing company, or is this a totally different publishing on this one, Michael?
You mean 37 Records that did my last record?
Right. Uh-huh.
No, this is totally separate from that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Jordan has his own publishing company and his own little record company. And of course, he's partnered with Alan Parsons, and they have some kind of an arrangement. But I'm not privy to what that is. But it's sure a blessing for him.
Well, this is fantastic. I'm really glad that you reached out to me to do this. I definitely put this together. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Well, it's powerful, man. And I should probably tell you this as well. The song came out Wednesday, which was the 10th of January, which was the anniversary of Jordan's father committing suicide.
Oh my goodness.
And so he wanted to put the album or the song out that day as a remembrance to his father, and with the deliberate intention that it could be encouragement to people who feel discouraged, to give voice to their discouragement, and that in doing so they would find some healing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's hope so. It's a very powerful song. Is there any video of him singing this song, or should I just put?
Not yet. I'm sure there will be over time.
Okay.
But at this point, there's just that powerful image of him that was attached to the link that I sent you. You can see it on YouTube. It's just a beautiful sunset image of a young man walking out into the ocean.
Sure.
And I think that captures a lot the mood of it.
You bet. Well done, my friend. We'll.
Man, thank you, Rick. God bless you. I'm so happy and excited for you, man.
Well, thank you, my friend. It's so good to hear your voice. I didn't realize till a moment ago when I was looking on one of our texts back and forth to each other that it was, I think, December 24th, 2 years ago when you and I did our episode together. And
wow, Chris.
I guess time flies, right?
It sure does, man.
Yeah.
Let's hope it has a good pilot's license.
Well, let's hope so. And, say hi to your wife. Are you guys still doing a lot of puzzles?
You know what? She is the puzzle queen, man. We did some fun puzzles over Christmas, and now we're just getting ready to go on a vacation, and so we're excited about that. And we'll come back and sort of get back in the saddle for the new project I'm working on.
Speaking of puzzles, I got to tell you, one of the things that we really got into in the last year or two, we really enjoy watching the Lego competition on TV. I don't know if you've ever watched that show. It's pretty interesting. They're usually teams of two people. It could be like a mother, son, or two brothers or whatever, or a married couple, and they compete with each other. But it's the people that are on there that host the show. These are people that have designed Legos and are really big into it. But it's incredible to watch what they design and put together to meet the theme and the challenge in this show. Well, anyway, our son has, for the last couple of years, bought us as part of our Christmas for the family a puzzle. So and they're 3D puzzles. You know, you put them together. And the last one that we did, I think we knocked it out in an hour and a half. Maybe 2 hours while they were here for Christmas, and it had like 875 pieces.
You're a better man than me.
Yeah. Well, it was mainly them. I helped with a little bit of it, you know, but it did require some collaborative help from the kiddos, and but it was a lot of fun to do. But you know, it's kind of
it builds community and it builds family, so that's a good thing.
It does. Yeah. It does. Well, my friend, thank you for reaching out, and I will get on this. I'll get this thing edited and put out in the next couple of days, and let me know when you get back from vacation what your next project's going to be. We may need to talk about it, and let's kind of keep a magnifying glass on Jordan and see where all that goes. You know, maybe down the road we'll need to be doing an episode with him personally.
That'd be great, man. I can make you the hookup. He'll have some great Alan Parsons stories to tell you. I got you here, Michael, can you hook me up with Connie Stevens? You know what? I have kind of lost. I haven't spoken to her in maybe 10 years.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm just not really in touch with her anymore.
Well, I saw
for no particular reason other than that's how life unfolds.
Yeah, well, and I know you've been doing a lot of, you've been busier than the dickens, you know, between your Branson and doing your, the one thing I was thinking about a minute ago is I don't have anything against Usher. I mean, he's great, and I guess he'll be performing at the Super Bowl coming up. But I could certainly see Michael Peterson in doing that as well, man. You have performed for millions of people. You've done so many great things. I mean, Country Music Awards with Garth and some really neat entertainers out there. It would be kind of fun to see you on the national stage on TV, you know, sometime.
Well, you know, I don't know if that's in the works for me, but I do know that every day I get up, like I said with the story about the Alan Parsons thing. I get up and I go to work, and I do the best that I can, and you know, God multiplies that the rest of the way. Whatever you know, His will is. I'm right there, ready and willing.
There you go, my friend. Well, you've summed it up very well. Great.
You could have all that success, and it could ruin your life.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So I just, I submit myself to God and say, God, whatever you want me to do, I'll do. Good
for you, my friend. Well said. Great talking to you again, Michael, and let's stay in touch. Give me a call when you get back, and let's keep this party going.
Okay, my friend. God bless you.
Same to you, my friend. Say hi to your wife. Take care, and have a fun trip.
Well, thanks, Rick. And when you post that, let me know.
I will. I'll send you the link. Thanks, buddy. Bye-bye.